Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video we'll be doing a quick review of the iPad 9 generation Wi-Fi model, and I'm not gonna make this a lengthy video basically because there are a lot of videos out there with the review, the explanation, the unboxing of this particular tablet because this has been out there for a long time. So I'm gonna make it a quick and a short video, and I'll explain all the pros and cons which I've observed while using this tablet, and with that you can decide whether this particular iPad is worth in 2024 or not. So without further delays, let's get into the video. So firstly, let's talk about the specs as well as the contents this box holds. So basically inside this box you will have an iPad, a USB Lightning to C cable and a power adapter. So this one was really surprising for me because Apple now do not give the power adapters along with their iPhones, and so this is the first thing which I thought. So I expected them not to provide an adapter with this, so I thought I would have to buy it separately, but to my surprise this box still contains a power adapter, which is pretty great. And these are the specs of this particular iPad. So this is a generic version. It contains a 64 GB capacity, so it's a pretty basic one. And these are the dimensions, and this is the month and year of manufacture, and this is the MRP given inside the box. So I'll at the end of this video I'll explain with what price I bought this from and also the seller from which I bought this from. So basically the adapter that you get along with the box is a 20-watt adapter, and the data cable that you get is a C2 Lightning data cable. And if you ask me about the quality of this data cable, it's pretty pathetic. I don't feel that this is of a good quality because if you are not careful, this data cable can break very easily. So Apple should have provided us with a better quality data cable, but unfortunately they don't. So if you're using this, need to be very careful because the chances of it breaking off are very high. So after that, let's come to the tablet. So this is the iPad, and I've already bought a protective casing for this iPad, and I've also used a tempered glass for this one. So basically once you open this one itself, the tablet will automatically lighten up. It has a fingerprint sensor here, so just have to place it here and it will open up. And this is the display quality of this iPad. It does have some thick bezels over here. Not sure if it's visible. Yeah, so these are the bezels. It does have some huge bezels. But apart from that, the screen quality, the screen size and all is pretty great. So this comes with a 10.2-inch display screen. And the processor that is used for this particular iPad is a 813 Bionic chip, which itself is a powerful and strong processor. But there are a lot of newer models out there with better processors. But if you're looking for an iPad at this budget range, definitely this one. Not only an iPad, if you're looking for any tablet at this budget range, this is a great competition. Basically, you can keep this in different positions. So I kept it like this. I'll show you. At first I did not know how to keep this thing. Then it was I had to go to YouTube, and then only I figured out how to place it in this position. But this one is great for watching series and stuff like that. So basically it is quite bright. This is the control center. I've kept it to maximum brightness at this point, and maybe we'll increase the volume max, and we'll play some videos in YouTube to see how good the screen is. And also one thing is that this does not have an anti-glare, so that is why you're seeing shadows. So in the newer versions of iPad, definitely that has an anti-glare. So let's play this video. So this is how the quality of the video is, and I'm not sure if it's visible through the phone camera, but definitely it does have a high picture quality, and the sound is also pretty great. So now let's quickly check its camera quality. So before starting, let me make something pretty clear. When you purchase a tablet, it should not be for its camera. Basically, this thing is pretty huge, like to hold with your hands and like clicking the pictures, it's not an easy task. So for that you have phones like Android or iPhone, you can use whatever, but tablets, it's a little bit bulky. So clicking pictures is not that easy, and the camera quality is pretty decent. You get a moderate kind of a quality, but there are a lot of other options out there in the market with better camera performance in tablets also. So this one has a decent looking camera, but not that great. So this is the back cam, and so this is the front cam. I did not like the front cam that much, but it's okay. It has a decent quality to it, but you should not be like bought for its camera. So let me share my thoughts on this, and at the end of this video you can decide whether this thing is worth in 2024 or not. So basically, as I said, this is a 64 GB variant, which is a Wi-Fi only model, and it does not have cellular capabilities. That is, you cannot insert a SIM card here. So if you want to buy that version where you can like insert your SIM card, there is a separate version available, but it does definitely cost you more. And this is a 64 GB version, right? So this is the general version. So most of the people might be thinking, why did I buy this? Like a 64 GB is nothing these days. You will get like 128 or 256 GB storage is at least required to manage storage. So let me tell you the reason why I got this variant of this iPad. So 64 GB variant is definitely nothing. But if you prefer watching OTT platforms and not storing contents inside this iPad, 64 GB variant is very well enough. Because if you're streaming most of your content online, then you do not need a high storage. So the reason for me purchasing this iPad is to only view OTT contents like Disney plus Hotstar, Netflix, Prime Video, YouTube. So that was my primary purpose. So for that, I do not require a version with higher storage capability. So if you want to purchase a version with higher storage, definitely you need to pay more. So based on your choice, if you are a person who likes to store a lot of things, you have to get a higher storage version. But if you're a person like me and if you only prefer OTT platforms, definitely you can go for this version. So now let's talk about the pros and cons of this particular iPad. So first thing is battery. It definitely lasts me more than a day, and my usage primarily consists of like watching YouTube, streaming, Netflix, Hotstar, and browsing the internet. So it is actually perfect for me. It definitely lasts me more than a day. Most of the time it lasts me around like 1.5 days if I'm using it on a proper way, like watching YouTube for continuously for a long time. It does definitely last. And like when said about the battery, the charging time is like pretty high. It's like almost around 2 hours to make it to come to a full charge. So I haven't exactly calculated the time, but definitely it takes a long time to get full charge. That is something which is common with Apple products. So that is also there. Performance level on this iPad is pretty great. I haven't played games on it, but I'm pretty sure that the A13, since it does have the A13 Bionic chip, it's pretty capable of playing games. So in case if you're into PUBG and all, definitely you can play on this one. But I haven't tried that out personally much, but it is a like the performance wise, this is a good iPad. And the display size, if you compare it, definitely it does have bezels, but it's actually pretty good display, and for me, I like it personally pretty well. So since the screen is large enough, it's definitely capable of multitasking. The camera quality is pretty decent. It's not that great, but it's definitely decent. The sound output on this particular iPad is pretty amazing. The speakers are decent. But one thing which I've observed is that for Siri, when it responds back to a query, the volume seems to be a little bit low. I'm not sure if there is some issue with the settings or not, but I have never seen such an issue with my MacBook, because in Mac, the Siri's voice is pretty loud. But for some reason in iPad, the Siri's voice appears a little bit low. And the next thing is that the Touch ID. The Touch ID is very much responsive. Now let's talk about the cons of this particular iPad. So firstly, it does not have a laminated display, an anti-glare display. So basically you'll see shadows like that. So that is definitely a con. And next thing is that the charging time. The time it takes to charge this iPad is pretty high. but that is there with all the Apple devices. So definitely that can have an impact, but for me it does not make much effect, but that can affect some people, especially if you are switching to a Apple system. You definitely know now the charging is not as fast or as smooth as that in Android, so that is definitely another con. Next is the bezels. Definitely for this particular model of iPad, the bezels are high, but as we said earlier, if you want a iPad with lesser bezels, you need to pay more and get an updated version. So these are the pros and cons which I felt about this iPad. There might be something which I missed here or there. So now let's get into the important question, whether this iPad is worth it in 2024 or not. So firstly, let me share my opinion and then you can decide whether this is worth for you or not. So firstly, why I bought this iPad is because I always wanted to experience the Apple interface. So I've been an Android user for a very long time, and to experience the Apple interface, the first thing that comes to your mind is an iPhone, but it costs a lot of money. So I wanted to try something for the very first time, but I did not wanted to like pay a huge money for that directly, because there is always a chance whether you would not like the interface, right? So when I searched for the options that were available in the market, then that is the time when I found this iPad. So it cost me around 22,000 from Flipkart. So just imagine getting into an Apple interface at such a low cost compared to what the price of iPhones are these days. It's actually a pretty amazing thing. If you ask me whether this is a future-proof iPad, definitely the answer is no. This does have an older processor and all the other features that are available in the newer models of the iPad, this does not have. But if you ask me whether this is worth it in 2024, definitely it is. That is, if you are wanting to buy an iPad in order to experience what the interface of Apple is, definitely you can go for this one. Because if you're not willing to pay such a huge money on something which you are not aware of, or you want to like try this out, definitely you can go for this. For 2024, it's definitely worth it. To be very frank, out of all the Apple products out there, I see this as the only one which is worth the money. Apart from that, everything else is highly priced. There are good products, don't get me wrong. Definitely they are good products. And after buying this iPad, after using it and liking the interface, I bought a MacBook. So that shows that how good the Apple interface and the Apple ecosystem is. But the only thing which I see as value for money is this present iPad 9 generation. Apart from that, everything else is priced way higher. Compared to Androids, compared to Windows, everything else, Apple has a high price point, most of the things. But for this iPad, this one in 2024, it's really worth it. For those people who are wanting to experience this for the first time and those people who wants to try it out. But for people with high expectations and wants to do editing and stuff like that, this is not worth it. For those people, you have better options out there, better chips out there, you can try out those. But for beginners and those people who wants to try out the Apple interface, definitely this is a good option and it's way better. And this is very much the value for money. And this is just my personal opinion. There will be a lot of opinions out there, and this product is not a new one. It's been out there for a long time.